one point I'll say, even though the Dutch are very, very good and very, very likely to be able to speak good English, this might sound a bit harsh, but they're not the most warm or most welcoming culture. They can be very friendly, but they can also won't be quick to like welcome you into their homes or welcome you into their lives. For example, I've grown up on one street my whole life. I lived there for 18 years, and I think I can count on one hand the number of houses of my neighbors that I've been into. And I speak Dutch, my family speaks Dutch. And even then, you're not quick to get an introduction or a welcome like that. So if you want to meet people and you want to make friends with locals specifically, my main tip is that you really need to be willing to put yourself out there, which is why, kind of going back to what we said about languages, learning a little bit of Dutch is a really good start, and it's a really good way to make that connection and make a good impression. Moving on from that, more positively, tips for integrating and meeting people: joining clubs specifically about like Dutch interests. I think one that's really, really popular is like joining a rowing club. The Dutch love rowing and it's really, really popular, and you're with other internationals in a rowing team, so it's a good way to meet Dutch people. Plus it's exercise, so that's nice. Language courses, also a great way to learn the language but also meet people. 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't know what else there is. Abby, did you have a couple of...
I know we touched on this before, but I wanted to mention it again, is the Dutch classes that get run through the municipality, like the gemeente. They do these discounted Dutch courses, and they're super intensive. I think some of my friends did them where it's like 2 nights a week for like 3 hours. But she now is like really good friends with the Dutch person who ran it and all of the other people on the course, because you're kind of surrounded by other international people, but they're also interested in learning Dutch. Because I think you can kind of fall into sometimes a very like expat heavy circle of friends. Like most of the people I knew in the Netherlands or know in the Netherlands aren't Dutch. I think I have one token Dutch friend in my like kind of immediate circle of friends.
I hear that a lot, actually.
Yeah. So like if you are scared about your Dutch, there's also like tons of stuff to do in English. Like I did writing courses in English. I joined an English book group. Then there was like an English language pub quiz team, and there's lots of stuff that you can do to make friends. And I think that's definitely like an easy way when you first arrive, because it's quite a lot to ask you to like throw yourself into Dutch culture. But I do think that kind of language aspect is a really important thing for like long-term integration. And
similarly, work, charity work, volunteer work, and also the wonders of modern technology. There are apps now that you can download, not just to date, but also to make friends. So I think the really popular one is like Bumble BFF, which is a good way. If you're really, really stuck and you really want to meet people, then there are other people on there who are other internationals and also Dutch people who are just looking to meet new people. So,
and again, Facebook groups. There was like an expats group in Utrecht where I live, and they have meetups, and sometimes people post and say like, I've just come to town, like does anyone want to go for a drink? And like actually like 20 people would reply, which is super nice. So that can be a really good resource for meeting people.
Like personally, I moved to the Netherlands when I was 19, so I really had to build up everything once I arrived here. And it's basically what they said: make sure you put yourself out there. Don't be put off by maybe their briefness in communication at first sight. It takes a while to get them going, but usually they are very caring and loving people. It just takes a while for them to warm up to you. And especially when conversing in English, it might not be their primary way of conversing, so it might be a little switch of communication style for them, but give them some leeway on that, and they should be warming up to you quickly. So I think that's it for now. Did you want to weigh in with anything, Shanti?
Well, the last thing is, because now more and more companies are open to work hybridly. In the Netherlands, on Fridays, we have this thing, it's called Vrijmibo. There's also something to consider, to just have a drink. Vrijmibo is vrijdagmiddag borrel, means Friday afternoon drinks. I'm not going to force anyone to have a drink, but even if you're not drinking alcohol, just come with, go to the pub with them, have a talk, get to know your neighbors a bit better. And they appreciate that as well, because then you show them that you are making an effort to get to know me. Vrijmibo is something I'm going to write it down.